Me too. I just did it. That's crazy. That's so crazy.
You know what else is crazy? Phantom Persona X5.
You didn't even intro the show.
I know.
You're insane. You've lost it.
Maybe I should do the intro first.
Okay.
Okay. Are you ready?
Yes.
You know what else is crazy?
What?
Wait, I forgot again.
Talking games with Kellie and Andrew?
Wait, oh no, that's spoiler alert. Roll the intro. Roll it. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Talking Games with Kellie and Andrew. I'm Andrew.
I'm Kellie.
Why do you look so, distraught?
I'm not distraught. I'm doing fine. Besides my acid reflux.
Well, yeah.
What happened? I was trying to sing the opening theme, and then Andrew started the episode because he likes to make me feel like a silly goose. Because he'll pause, like he's waiting for me to say something, and then he'll go into the intro, and then I just have to be quiet and cut myself off. He's silencing women.
Whoa!
Classic Andrew.
Whoa!
Classic misogyny.
Whoa! Hang on.
Hold the fort.
Phone, hold it. Hold the phone.
Just kidding. Andrew's not a misogynist. But you know who is? Mr. Kamoshida.
Wow, that was good. He won't be in what we're going to talk about now, and that's Persona 5, The Phantom X. You heard that right, folks. A new Persona 5 mobile game / PC port is coming out in Japan. There's no solid release date, but there is a lot of footage. It sure does look like Persona 5. It looks like a cheaper version because it's running on a cell phone, but it does still look like Persona 5. I'm impressed in some senses, but also okay, here's where I stand. I'm on the fence. Half of me is like, whoa, this looks cool. Like, this looks like Persona 5, just more of it. But then there's the other half of me that, even if I was interested, this is ripping off this is just taking so much straight from Persona 5 that I'm like, what is there for me to be interested in? Yeah, it's a new cast of characters, I guess, so that's the answer. Is that the answer?
They want you to be interested in gacha mechanics so that you spend money.
Yeah. I'm not going to spend money because I'm not going to get this game, even though it looks impressive. And they did there's a lot of work and love being put into it, but also it just feels a little heartless, you know?
Yeah. They're certainly milking the cow dry.
Yeah, you could say that again.
The Persona cow.
And the thing is this is being made by a Chinese mobile development studio. This is not affecting Persona 6. So anybody who's like, what the heck? Make Persona 6. It's like, well, they probably are. They're probably just taking a long time because, they take a while to make games. These days especially. But there's a lot of good in this. I think it's interesting. I think it's good that... Sorry, I'm trying. I'm not distracted. I'm just trying to think of something positive. There's a lot of cool animations in this trailer. So there's going to be a lot of cool animations in this game that I'm not going to play. I guess that's a positive. I don't know. Are you going to play it?
No. I have no interest in gacha games or mobile. I really am not that interested in mobile games either. I don't feel particularly compelled because I think the thing with Persona 5 is it's kind of like if you play the original and you play Royal, you're like, oh my God, is it done already? Are we done? Did we save the day? Do we have to save the day 6 different times? And this just sort of reinforces that feeling of like, are we done? Like, must we venture again?
Well, there basically already is a Persona 5 2 with Strikers.
Right.
And that's also the same cast. Like, that's the big thing here. It's an entirely new cast. Not a single shared person, except, like, you can use gacha mechanics to get, like, Joker and presumably other Persona 5 characters, which I think is kind of icky.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not going to comment too deeply because I don't want to be, like, rude to the people that are making this game. But as far as, like, money grabbing, this feels, like, pretty high up there on this. We're gonna have to steal the heart of the Sega executive who approved this. Is all I'm gonna say.
Well, it's like, why are they going into Mementos again? You know, didn't we do a whole thing about this?
Yeah, and Persona 5 Strikers acknowledges that, like, Mementos and Palaces are, like, not a thing for some plot reasons. So they do acknowledge that. They come up with a way around that, but this does not seem to be doing that at all.
I'm not really interested. Sorry to say. I like
No
Persona
thanks.
5, but not that much. I mean, I love it, but not enough to download a gacha game.
Yes, I agree.
So, funny enough, I don't know if you've ever played a little video game called Counter-Strike. It's a real hardcore gamer game. You know, you're like drinking your Monster Energy drink. You're eating your Doritos. Is that like an old? That's like an old joke, isn't it? That's like very 2014, isn't it?
Yeah, but if you're playing Counter-Strike still, I don't care, to be nice to you.
Wow.
Not that I think there's anything wrong with playing Counter-Strike, but you gotta admit, it's fun to put your camp in the monster drinking zone. That's funny.
True. Counter-Strike 2 was announced, which is kind of a big deal because Counter-Strike Go and Counter-Strike Go came out a long time ago. So if you have Counter-Strike Go, why? But also, just kidding. But also, Counter-Strike 2 will be a free upgrade in this summer when it comes out if you have Counter-Strike Go. So it's going through a limited test era right now, which is exciting, I guess. I don't know. I'm like afraid of Counter-Strike. I feel like it's a very scary, very toxic environment. But 2 has like some new features. It's got like new smoke particles, right? Are we excited or what? It's just it's like a new gen game, you know, so it just looks and feels different.
They're on the page where they announce it. You can look at like a slider that shows you the updates to the maps that they made. And like most of it looks better, but there's one that's a restroom. And I mean, it's mostly an art style change more than a graphical change. But the very funny thing is that they updated the water fountain because the old CSGO map has like a traditional water fountain. And then the new version has like a water fountain with one of the water bottle fillers.
Yeah.
I'm like, whose decision was that? That's so funny.
A Trinkwasser.
Yeah. Is that what it's called? Or
That's what it says.
It just says that.
Yeah. So this must be Germany. Is Go? Well, I know you don't play it, so.
I know nothing about Go. All I know is that I feel like after Overwatch 2, I'm worried for Counter-Strike players. And I know this is not the same company. This is not Blizzard, so we don't have to worry as much probably. But I bet after what happened with Overwatch, there's definitely some CSGO players that are biting their nails right now.
Yeah.
I'm indifferent. And also, like, especially with some of these sliders, the updates look pretty minimal on a lot of them. So it's like, it's similar to Overwatch 2. Even if it's good, similar to Overwatch 2 in that I'm like, is there a point to this update? I'm going to say maybe not. Well, we probably won't find out. We don't know. I don't know anybody who plays Counter-Strike. Do you?
No.
And I don't think anybody who played Counter-Strike would want to talk to us. You know, have you met us?
No, I haven't. And I would like to not meet us. So.
You know who I want to meet?
Whom?
I want to meet Gollum.
Oh. Actually, Gollum's here right now if you want to talk to him.
Oh my god. Hey, Gollum? Gollum? Hey, buddy.
It's precious.
Oh, hey. Uh-huh. How you doing, buddy?
No!
Uh-huh. How you doing, buddy?
No!
No?
Gives me the rings.
Uh-huh. Hey, hey, bud, I'm sorry. I'm really struggling to come up with questions to ask you. Kelly, we're focused on Gollum. Can you stop laughing and let him talk?
Sorry. Go ahead, Gollum. Well, he doesn't have anything to say. He's looking at me like I'm crazy now.
Oh, I thought you were I thought he was in the Zoom chat. He's in the room with you?
He's here with me.
That's really scary.
He's always with me. He's my little princess. He's my little baby boy. He's my little nasty guy.
Well, your nasty guy will be playable on your PlayStation or Xbox or PC shockingly soon, May 25th. We saw a new gameplay trailer. Well, I shouldn't say trailer. 40 minutes of just raw footage. It looks... I think it looks like what I expected it to look like, I'll say. It's something. It's something.
Yeah, that's really a very generous way of saying what it is.
I'll describe how I feel about it by quoting our friend Gollum, who just joined the show. No.
He does say that.
Yeah.
He says that.
I'm quite all right. Thank you, Gollum. I don't want to play your game. But I'm excited to see how it turns out. I'm probably too excited to see how it turns out in just a few weeks here, May 25th, competing with potentially Suicide Squad.
Yeah, what if it's like the greatest game ever made?
Then in that case, Gollum will be coming back on the show to say yes.
Wow. No.
I hope that Gollum is a regular on the show. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, Gollum's probably going to have to think of some more things to say. Because Gollum's input and insight is not always relevant to video game discussion.
Yeah, I think Gollum might have to practice his Gollum voice between episodes. That's all I'm going to say, is that maybe Gollum should put the work in outside of the recordings.
Oh. That's really weird because Gollum's voice is Gollum's voice. He was born that way.
Well, no, he wasn't
actually. But you shouldn't be criticizing him. Yeah, that's very mean to do.
Well, it's not you, Kelly. It's Gollum. I'm not making fun of your voice, Kelly.
I'm defending him because he's here with me. He's my friend.
He left the room. I watched.
Well,
him and your cat Cookie left together in sync, like they did the same four-legged walk.
What in sync? What about the Backstreet Boys?
They're back. All right. Stop being so proud of that.
Sorry. So, there's all sorts of drama with Call of Duty and Microsoft and PlayStation right now. We know there's this whole thing with the Activision Blizzard deal, which has not actually been approved yet. And a bunch of UK United Kingdom regulators called the Competition and Markets Authority have sided with Microsoft over concerns that Sony would remove Call of Duty from PlayStation if the Activision Blizzard deal went through. Supposedly, the CMA, which is these regulators or this regulator, has some concern about the cloud gaming market. Okay.
What?
And the investigation is supposed to be done by the end of April. Whatever that means. This is a bit in the weeds for us gamers who I actually don't know how to read, so this news story was really difficult for me, if you can imagine. I really had to just synthesize the information, like stare at my screen with my eyes and like hope for the best.
Yeah, I'm really glad that those pictures of the Microsoft Xbox logos and stuff helped you figure out all of those details.
Thank you.
This part of the argument bothers me because it's currently PlayStation's biggest fighting point is that, oh, well, they're going to take Xbox, they're going to take Call of Duty and put it just on Xbox. There are plenty of reasons to argue against the acquisition of Activision by Microsoft. Lots, a very long list, and I disagree with very few of them, I think there's a lot of merit to all those arguments. The argument about Call of Duty is nonsense. Microsoft is outwardly offering to sign 10-plus year contracts with all of these publishers and already has with Steam, with Nintendo. They're clearly interested in putting it everywhere that they can. So, I don't think, and they've been public about the fact that they have offered that to PlayStation. I don't know why PlayStation is dying on the hill that is a blatant lie versus picking the more valid arguments about monopolization. Probably because then they wouldn't be able to monopolize themselves down the line.
Yeah, they don't want to say anything, and then 2 years from now when they want to buy whoever.
Square.
Oop.
Square Enix.
More like Circle Penis. Sorry. I don't know why I said it. Okay.
I don't know, but audience is gonna be blindsided.
I gotta get locked up. Somebody's gotta lock me up.
We're gonna lock you up. And do you want to know the only thing that we're going to give you to be entertained?
What?
A Wii U and a 3DS? But there's going to be nothing on them, Kelly. And guess what? We'll even give you a credit card so you can go to the eShops and buy things.
Yep.
But you won't be able to, Kelly.
Aw.
Because as of today, time of recording, March 27th. Actually, at time of recording, we have 2.5 hours left. At time of recording, we have 2.5 hours left before the final death of the Wii U and 3DS eShops. We had plenty of warning, but I thought it was worth bringing up the fact that these two beautiful services are dying on this day.
Rest in peace. What's the last game you bought from the eShop?
Oh, the 3DS eShop. I'm going to guess that the last thing I got was Fire Emblem Fates. What's the last version? Revelation? Yeah. That's probably the last time I bought something. No. Smash for Wii U and 3DS DLC I bought.
I see.
That was the last thing. That was probably the last thing I bought for both consoles was the Smash DLC.
Well, I'll tell you, I didn't have a Wii U, but I am the same. The last thing I bought on the eShop was Fire Emblem Fates Revelations. Revelation?
Yeah. Revelation.
And it was not worth it.
Well,
now no one can ever buy it again. Sorry.
Yeah, now they'll just have to pirate it, which is not unethical anymore.
Yeah, now you can just be silly. And when Nintendo's like, why are you pirating our games? You can just be like, I was just being silly. Okay.
Just like you guys.
I can't get in trouble for being a silly little guy.
You can't prosecute silliness.
You can't.
Folks, you cannot prosecute silliness.
And I'm always saying this.
Quote us in court.
Well, all right, hold on. Let's dial it back a little bit.
Better call Kelly. Kelly will defend you against silliness accusations.
Yes. Yes.
And she will come to that courtroom and say, yeah, my client was being silly. Is that illegal? I don't think so. Slap the book on the table.
Boom. Freedom. Freedom!
And start that, Better Call Kelly theme song.
Yeah. I was going to do it, but then I was like, maybe I won't.
I started doing the Breaking Bad.
Let me get my string guitar out.
I think if it was a faster theme, I'd be more inclined to sing it.
Okay. Sorry.
Anyway, rest in peace.
Rest in peace to the eShop. Perhaps also a big rest in peace to our favorite French company.
What?
It's not my favorite French company.
No, I feel like there's much better options.
Ubisoft. Remember when they were like, we're totally going to E3, you guys?
They committed pretty hard.
Well, something really silly happened where they were like, actually, we're not going to E3. Sorry. We're hosting an independent summer event on June 12th.
Ow.
So, more power to them. We'll probably see some Assassin's Creed, Mirage, and then that's probably it.
Oh.
So
That must sting.
it's like really embarrassing. It's like E3 is like they invited all their friends to the party, and then like their friend's friend was like, "Hey, can I come? I'll come to the party." And they were like, "Yeah, sure." And then all their regular friends were like, "We're not coming anymore." But the friend's friend was still coming. And they're like, "Oh, I'm not really
It's
that
just
close
one
with
person.
you." Yeah, it's kind of awkward. And then the friend's friend is like, "Ooh, I don't really want to come anymore." That's like embarrassing on a number of levels.
Yeah, and then the friend's brother-in-law is still like really, really excited, and that's Konami. And at this point, I think the host of the party, being E3, is just like, I have two options. Let Konami come over and try to build something fun, or light my house on fire. And right now it sounds like E3 might be leaning towards the self-firing house.
Yeah, the self-immolation.
Yeah.
Like that monk.
Monk.
He set himself on fire, remember? Not
Yeah.
saying that E3 is at all similar to a peacefully protesting monk who sacrificed his life. Anyway.
I think we should really move on because I don't know where to take that anymore.
Sorry, brought down the mood a little bit.
I'm not going to transition. I'm just going to talk. Nintendo tweeted. They tweeted, Kelly. Take a deep breath.
I can't. I have acid reflux. I'll burp.
Okay, don't. Okay, don't take it. Here, I'll take it for you. Nintendo tweeted. They said, join Legend of Zelda series producer Eiji Aonuma for roughly 10 minutes of gameplay from Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. That's coming out March 28th at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're listening to this time of release, what are you doing listening to this podcast at 6 a.m. on the dot? Thank you. But also, please don't wake up to listen to our podcast.
Don't tell people not to listen to our podcast.
No, just don't wake up for the purpose of listening, and that's it. Like, it comes out at 6, but, like, you don't have to be there at 6 to be special. We love all of you.
But if you really love us, you would.
You're right. Actually, if you don't listen at 6, are you a real one? Do you even like us? Anyway, odds are, statistically speaking, this thing is already out. So if you're interested in seeing 10 minutes of Zelda footage, check it out. We will definitely be talking about it next week. I am 40% on the fence about whether I watch it or not. 60% chance that I watch it, 40% chance that I avoid it.
Wow.
It was like a definite avoid, but then I realized it's going to be hard to avoid like clips on Twitter and stuff.
What if I watch it and tell you what happens in it, and then you can be like, okay, here's what I'm going to watch now.
Yeah, I guess I should just... Okay, I'll watch it. I'm 80-20. I'm 80% chance going to watch it. You'll find out next week if I watched it.
True.
Are you excited?
I am. I sure am. I'm going to see... I'd like to see Link. I'd like to see Zelda. I'd like to see maybe some more plot elements.
I don't think you'll see that. I think they said gameplay, so I feel like it's...
Cool.
Sorry.
It's fine. I'm just going to freak the F-ing heck out.
Whoa.
Yeah, you better freaking stop me before I go crazy.
I'm going to make a conspiratorial comment.
Okay.
So you know how there was that rumor of that Switch OLED for Tears of the Kingdom that was like pretty substantiated and there were tons of pictures?
Yes.
The controllers in front of Mr. Aonuma in this tweet are just the regular Switch OLED controllers, and they do not match that Tears of the Kingdom OLED. So I really would be surprised if that got announced tomorrow. And if it doesn't get announced tomorrow, I'd be surprised if that edition is even coming out.
Yeah, I would think that they would talk about it tomorrow. And if not, then I would agree. They're probably not doing it.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm now 90-10. 90-10 is the split.
Wow, things have changed rapidly.
I'll also be at work, so I can't watch it live. And this is the first time in a very long time that I have been not able to watch like a Nintendo reveal of some sort live. And it kind of stings.
Yeah.
It burns a little bit.
I know. That sucks. I feel your pain.
I'm in pain.
Well, stop. Just stop it.
Okay. How about instead we talk about what we played? Kelly, did you play any new games?
No.
I turned that around on you. Made you feel a fool.
I know that I played all of the Resident Evil remakes back in October. So it was expected that I would play 4. But I am actually kind of broke right now. So I'm kind of trying to save money. Even though I really want to see my little uwu baby boy, stinky guy.
Stinky?
Well, he's probably stinky after the events of 4.
Yeah. But like he doesn't start stinky.
Right. My little cat boy, Leon.
Yeah.
Leon. It's fine. It's fine. I'll get to it.
I'll talk about it in a minute. Sorry.
That's okay.
I feel like, are you going to want to take your headphones off because you're going to be sad? Not even for spoilers.
No, it's okay. I mean, I know what happens in the game, yeah.
Yeah, but what if it's different?
Then I guess I'll just suffer.
I won't tell you if it's different. Well, I'll tell you if it's different, but I won't tell you the spoilers.
Okay.
I played games. Thanks, everybody, for listening. We'll talk to you. I got a few things to talk about. One is that I finished Wolong Fallen Dynasty. We took a week off, so I had a lot of gaming time. And I think last time I had talked about that game, I had played like an hour. I don't think I beat the first boss. I don't think I beat the first boss when we first talked. Meaning I have finished all 16 levels and all 16 major bosses. This game is metal, and I know I used that description when I talked about it the first time, but the parrying and combat system are just so satisfying, so fluid. I had an absolute ball playing it. It was not nearly as difficult as I expected. There were a couple bosses that I got hung up on. There was one right in the middle of the game that was super difficult. Although I Googled it and people were talking about how it took them like 4, 5, 6 hours and stuff of attempts. And I'm like, oh, it took me an hour. Like an hour's a long time, but like Reddit made me feel very competent at this video game.
Yeah.
And then the final boss was like incredibly cool and super long. So it felt like it took a long time, but it only took 4 attempts. It was just that each attempt was like 10 minutes almost. So it's kind of like that brutal circle, which is like why the Elden Ring final boss was so brutal, because like even though it wasn't the most difficult thing in the world, it was such a long attempt every time, and I played it drastically underleveled. This game I was also, according to the game, like 10 to 15 levels under the recommendation at all times, and I didn't have like any trouble. Like I beat most bosses. I'd say I beat about half the bosses in one try. And then most of the other half was like 3 tops. And then there were 2 bosses that took a lot of attempts, and then the final boss took me 4. So like I was not getting hung up very often on this game. The mechanics of I don't think I did explain. And Kelly, are you familiar with how the prestiging works essentially?
No, not at all.
So this game's means of balancing the difficulty and giving you control is like a ranking system. So as you walk through the levels, there's these little flag posts that you place down, and they half of them serve as like bonfires from our Dark Souls. So it's like a save point. If you die, you go back there. You can also go there to level up. But there's also like partial ones. So they don't act as save points, but they do refresh your health at that moment, and they raise your ranking. Your ranking starts at 0 at the beginning of every single level, and it goes up to 20. And every enemy has their own ranking. So let's say you're approaching an enemy. They're rank 3. You're rank 0. You are going to have a tough time with that enemy. Even if it's just a grunt, they can hit really hard, and they take a lot less damage from your hits. If you go over to a flag post, you stick it in, your rank goes up sometimes 2, sometimes 3, and then for the little ones, it'll only go up 1. When you approach that enemy again, if you're level 3, rank 3, or higher, you'll have a substantially easier time. That means all of the bosses generally fall around 19-20 rank. You can choose how difficult you want the bosses of each level to be with that system. Granted, even if you are matched with them, even if you are rank 20, it is still going to be difficult. The alternative that you can do, because 20 is the highest you can get by default, meaning when you die, your rank gets reset, you can go around and grind enemies, which raises your rank even higher, which can get up to 25. So if you're having a very tough time with a boss, get to rank 20, walk around and kill a bunch of enemies, and that gets you up to 25. The nice thing also is that if you get to rank 25 and you fight a boss and die, it doesn't reset. It goes back to 20, but the second you step back in that boss room, it's back to 25. That's a very generous mechanic because there were times where I just happened to be like rank 23 or 24 by the time I got to the boss. And it made it so I didn't have to feel like, oh, I just wasted a bunch of time getting here. It stays when I go back to that boss room. That is, I think, the most unique mechanic that they came up with, and it was a really good way of balancing the difficulty. If you want to have a hard time, don't spend as much time exploring the levels. Exploring the levels was one of my favorite parts, if not my favorite part of the entire game. It's the really intricate design levels. There's a lot of verticality, and finding those flag posts is really exciting to find. Some of them are really well hidden, but still like reasonable. Nothing's unfair. And it also makes it like fun to explore because, you know, these enemies are more difficult if you don't explore well. So it makes the combat more reasonable, even if it's always difficult. I think Elden Ring kind of primed me for this game in a really interesting way because I went into it being like, I gotta dodge. You can't dodge. Well, you can, but it uses up some of your stamina meter. And if your stamina meter hits 0, you are susceptible to attacks. You can't move for a few seconds. And that's really brutal with some of these enemies that have very quick attacks. When you dodge, it uses some of your stamina. Versus if you do just a parry button, it uses a tiny bit of your stamina. And if you successfully parry, you gain an incredible amount of stamina and you can do a power attack. Your stamina meter kind of works like if you've played Sekiro or the Neo games. If it's in the red, that means you're in like going into the negative, and when it goes into the blue, that means you have positive stamina. It gives you a lot of options. I really liked this game. If you have Game Pass, I highly suggest giving it a chance. I cannot vouch for its last gen performance. There were quite a bit of loading screens on the Series X, and they were usually somewhat quick, but I did find that frustrating because there were a couple bosses in particular where you would die, and you'd have like a 10-second loading screen, not a big deal. But then you'd go back to the boss door, and there'd be another like 10 to 15-second loading screen. And I know I'm just spoiled by current gen loading times, but that ended up feeling quite frustrating because I was like, oh, every time I die, I have to sit here and watch this screen. And Elden Ring got me really spoiled because it was usually just a couple seconds, and there was like no loading between bosses. But if you have an Xbox and Game Pass, highly recommend it. If you have PlayStation or PC and you think this is going to be your jam, give it a try. Maybe go see if they have it at your library, rent it on GameFly or whatever people do nowadays.
GameFly?
I still use GameFly, but I do for their used game sales. I do not have a subscription.
Wow, that's a throwback. I haven't heard
people
that
must
in
be
a long
still
time.
using it. It's still around. People must.
Yeah, you're single-handedly funding GameFly right now.
When I buy a used game once every like 4 months from them for $10, yeah. You know what? There's been times lately where I'm like, that's not a bad option. But I like to keep games, so I tend to rent from the library games that I'm not as excited about. But anyway, next game that I played, I've already talked about as well, and that's Octopath Traveller 2. I have not finished that, where Wolong took me 24 hours to beat. Octopath, I have 35 hours in, and I am not done. I, according to PlayStation, am 70% of the way through, so I am in the home stretch, but I will say that this game continues to get better. There's a couple stories of the 8 main stories that I'm not as keen on, but some of the characters, namely Particio and Oswald and Throne, I'm super invested in their plot lines, and I really like them from a gameplay perspective as well. I think there's a lot of diversity, and it really gives you the option to kind of party up however you see fit. I decided to have 3 party members that are always in my party, that being the thief Throne, the magician Oswald, and then the apothecary Casti, because I really like the gameplay combinations of those 3. and then I just cycle out the fourth member when I'm doing one of their plot lines. That's personally how I've found the most fun, and I hope that I'll be able to finish next couple weeks. I'm not going to make any promises, but I'd like to have it done sometime in April. Definitely before Tears of the Kingdom. I'll make sure I get this one done for you. But it'll be a little difficult because I'm playing something else.
Oh?
I already said I was playing it, so I feel like it's mostly just been people waiting. I talked about Wolong for a lot longer than I thought I would. Oops.
It happens.
Oops.
You talked about it for a long time.
Whoa, long review.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
No, that joke never gets old.
Well, let's just say that it does.
Does what?
Get old. And perhaps it's gone on for too long. Sorry.
Oh, my laugh I reacted too positively. I played Resident Evil 4 Remake 2023 on my PlayStation 5. I have not finished it. This game is pretty fresh out the gate, but I've gotten a decent amount of the way through. I'll leave my impressions to basically just a surface level understanding of what I'm playing, because I can't tell you a lot about the late game story or late game gameplay stuff. But having come off Wolong, this game does have a great parry mechanic. You can parry with your knife. The knife is also a expendable resource, which is really hard to get used to if you've played the original. There's a lot of things that have been changed in subtle ways. The design of the level is definitely a good bit different. The only thing that I found where I'm like, yeah, this is the exact same so far is that opening town. But I feel like that's something they kind of had to do one-to-one because it's so iconic. That first fight against the mob of weird, sort of infected people. You didn't know what was going on. It was very mysterious and terrifying. Biggest difference is that you can shoot a lantern and it falls on the cow, and then the cow runs away because there's fire in his house, and then he hits a bunch of the enemies. Which I thought was cute until they killed the cow.
No.
So, yeah. And then also Leon went, "You can bill me for the repairs." And I was like, oh, this game is still stupid. Thank God. Because he still said the bingo line where everybody leaves and he goes, "Where's everybody going? Bingo?" Yeah. And I'm glad they did like stuff like that, but I hope that they keep it up with a lot of new stupid lines as well, not just the old ones.
We need new stupid.
I need new stupid in my life, always. I can only talk to Kelly for so long every week. Sometimes I need Leon to be stupid too.
God.
I'm stupid too. Are you going to pretend that you're not? We're stupid together.
We're like Tweedledee and Tweedledum.
Yeah, except just Tweedledum. We're just
both
me and you.
Dumb.
I'm Tweedledum and you're Tweedle stupid.
All right. Well, thanks so much for listening, everybody.
I'm not done talking about Resident Evil 4 Remake 2023 PlayStation 5 version.
I'm done hearing about it because I'm upset.
Okay, I'm almost done. Also,
I'm protesting.
About it, so.
I'm boycotting this podcast.
Well, boy, do you got more to hear about.
Ugh.
Anyway, I just feel like this game so far has just the right amount of old and new. The only thing that I wish was like when you go to save, I really wish that the music was exactly the same as the save room music from Resident Evil 4. It's new, and it's like definitely a callback, but I was just like, that's one thing where I was like, I wanted that music. I love the save room music from Resident Evil 4, and I wish it was one-to-one, but oh well. And like when you receive your video call, when you receive the video calls, it doesn't stop the game anymore. It just puts a little image of the character talking on screen. And I actually really like that because I think it allows you to keep exploring the world versus stopping to hear this like kind of stagnant cutscene. And the sound of receiving the phone call is exactly the same. And I was like, ooh, I love that. I feel like it's just the right amount of like playing to nostalgia and also creating something new and exciting. And right off the bat, I can say that if you haven't played the original, which like that game's old and a lot of our listeners are similar age to us, I don't blame people for not having played that game. How old were we when that game even came out? Like many
maybe
years
like
young?
15 or 4. No.
You were like 7.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
When did it come out? 2007?
4, I thought.
2005?
I thought it came out in 2004.
2005.
2005.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that was 18 years ago. So I was 7 years old. What were you, not
I was
9? Yeah. That's
8
crazy.
Is great.
Okay, so yeah, I don't blame our audience falls very similar in age range to us. If you were 7 years old when Resident Evil 4 came out, can anybody really blame you for not playing it? You know?
Right.
So I feel like this is a good way to go back. If you don't have access to an Oculus Quest 2, because I feel like that's the most modern reimagining of it, this is now this is the most modern reimagining of it. So highly recommended. I'm enjoying it a great deal. I assume I'll be back to talk about it next week because I'm going to keep playing it and I'm having a ball doing so. Also, Leon looks so good. Oh, and a little tip. If you're playing this on current gen consoles, there is a frame rate and resolution mode. The resolution mode runs at 60 frames per second. So don't pick the frame rate mode.
Whoa.
I've seen like a couple tiny drops in the frame rate, but I'll take the ray tracing. I'd rather have ray tracing with an occasional drop from 60 to like 55 than to have 60 FPS but no ray tracing. That's my opinion.
Right.
That's my opinion.
That's my opinion.
I remember Vine. Oh. Anyway. Well.
Gotta go get back to my cat boy.
Just what?
Cat boy? Leon? Leon?
Oh. You're not. Are you getting the game because I talked about it?
I don't know. No. I have to wait.
Go get it at the library.
Weekend. Oh, yeah. I'm going to go to the library and they're going to be like, we have this game for you right now, right here.
Why are you laughing? That's what they do.
They don't do it at my library.
They don't?
Library. No.
Why don't your library have games?
Because my library is too big for games.
Wait, what? Wouldn't big mean that there's more games?
No, I don't know. I genuinely do have to check. But I don't think that they would have it because it's so new. And also, I live in a city and there's one library. And I can only imagine it's a really big library. So a
lot of people.
Yeah. So if they do have it, it's probably gone by now. So.
Yeah. I mean, even my library, which is a lot smaller, new games are hard to come by.
Yeah.
Because I just came upon Last of Us Part 1, and I haven't seen that since that game came out in September. So, and I got that game. I played like 30 minutes, but I'm not going to talk about it until I finish it. Because I've talked about the game plenty on this show.
Yes.
I also got Kirby Triple Deluxe,
Kirby.
Kirby Return to Dreamland Deluxe, sorry. How dare I confuse Kirby Return to Dreamland Deluxe and Kirby Triple Deluxe.
Yeah. You need to go to jail for that.
I'm on my way.
All right. That's enough.
Sorry. I feel like that's a good way to end it, right? Make people unpleasant, unhappy.
Yeah, I love to make people unhappy.
You heard it here first, folks. Kelly Knock 2023. I love to make people unhappy.
Thanks for listening, everybody. I hope you have a really swell week, a really swell day. I hope you enjoyed it. No, I'm being serious. I mean it.
After you just said that you like making people unhappy, you expect me to believe you?
I can explain. Okay, bye.